Hi there, it's David John, the Resourceful Coach, and what we're going to go through now, 4 thinking techniques that for me revolutionised my game, changed my whole way of thinking of playing golf, and has knocked shots off my score. But more importantly, it's made me a much more consistent golfer. So it becomes a lot more fun when I go out and play. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, people look at my videos, think you're very calm, but as a junior golfer, I was quite fiery. I didn't really, if I hit a bad shot, I got very upset very quickly. So hopefully through these 4 sort of techniques that we're going to talk about, it gets away from a little bit the player's ego and start to understand how to deal with certain scenarios that you might come across on the golf course. So number 1, we're talking about your distances that you hit your shots. We've come here to the 3rd hole, we've got a pond to go over, and this is a common thing I see with golfers. They don't get the ball to the hole. And the reason being is they've gone to the practice ground, they've gone to the range, they're hitting balls, and they're watching how far they hit their best shot. Now for me, we've got 140 yards here to get to that flag. I know on an absolute perfect day, I could nail a wedge that far. That would have to be amazing, okay? And that's what I see a lot of golfers do. They'll pull out that wedge because they've hit half a dozen last week on the practice range, 140 yards, think, I can do that here. So we pull out the wedge, we give it a go, and what happens is, unless you hit that perfect shot, the chances are you're not going to get the result you want. But let's give it a go. Let's see what happens. Well, I struck that lovely. It felt good. Bang, straight in the pond. Okay, so what should I be doing? Okay, what I should be doing is not looking at the best. Is start to look at that grouping on that sort of top tracer system and say, well, yeah, I could hit it 140 with that. That was my wedge, but on average I hit my A-iron 140, and that's the key thing. Yeah, I might be able to hit this if I really get it. The best shot I've hit, I might go 160, but we're looking at 140 yards to get to that flag, and if I hit it 160, well, I'm only just going to be at the back of the green. I'm not going to be that far through, and I think that's the important thing to understand. But there seems to be this issue as golfers, we're scared of going long. So here's your first thing: lose the ego, take the average club. 8-iron now, should be plenty of club if I hit that correctly to get nicely onto that green. Let's see what happens. Now I don't have to try and muscle it away. There's a greater chance I'm probably going to hit it smoother and hit a better shot anyway. Struck it lovely. Felt like an average shot. And that's ended up around about, well, it's the perfect distance. It's the distance I said. I've ended up about 8 feet from the hole. So here's your first thing, and again, drop that ego. Don't think about the ultimate shot you've played with that club. Start to go to the range and work out what your average distance is. Play that, and you're going to start to hit more greens and have a lot more fun and success in your game. So here's our second shot, and it's my little phrase I use a lot of the time. If you ever go on my website and I say, every shot's an opportunity. And what I see a lot of the times, people get to certain shots and the fear of failing takes over rather than the thrill of the opportunity of succeeding. So we've created a shot, not a nice one. We've got to go over a pond. We've got about 15 yards of green, let's say. So we've still got about 40 feet of green there. So still plenty of green. There's a bit of a ridge behind, but the player doesn't see that. All he sees is the trouble. All of a sudden now it's like, oh God, I don't want to go into the water. And the fear of failing takes over. And what happens is our brain goes into this downward spiral. It can only see bad things. We get over it. Oh, how am I going to get it? We start to try and force it. We get there. Oh, please get over. Please get. Oh, well, I didn't even get it to the water. Oh my God, I haven't really got rid of the problem. Even worse. Okay, I've taken a shot and I still haven't got over the water. Oh, now it's in the water. And this is what I see a lot of the time with golfers. They get so uptight about it, and what I do is suddenly look at it and, as we said, change it round from being the fear of failing, and suddenly now I haven't got rid of the problem here. I'm in the water. I've got to take a drop back here again. I've still got to get over that water, and it's now the thrill of succeeding. Because here's the good news: there are lots of golfers having that fear. So if you can flip it round, and this is the great thing with your mind, there's normally a positive and a negative way of doing it. Is it the negative of fear, or is it the thrill and the positive of the thrill of achieving the result? And that's what I started to do. It became a little bit like I created a technique that I knew I could play this shot, and most of you can play it if there's no pond in the way. But now what you've got to do is become a little bit of a show-off. You've got to become that thrill of doing it. Pull out the club that you know you can chip it over that water. As I said, we've got probably 40 feet of green to play with, and have that confidence to just see the shot that you want to play nicely over the water. And we're on the green, and we're probably around about 15, 18 feet away. But it was definitely a shot that I'd get to in a game of golf that I would suddenly go, oh, I can't do this. Chipping over a bunker. Situation where maybe on the last hole, you've got to get it up and down to win the match. And you would talk yourself out of it. But it's the thrill of doing it. I always remember watching Padraig Harrington's, we have a thing called the Chronicles of a Champion Golfer, which goes through the idea of how these guys won the Open Championship. And when he won one of his, it was at Carnoustie. Everybody remembers Van der Velde playing the last hole, but nobody realises how badly Harrington played it, and he nearly lost it and actually made a double bogey and got into the playoff. But he had to get the ball up and down from about 60, 70 yards, and he became like a childlike again. He became the thrill. How great would it be if I spin this ball right next to the hole? That was his idea. He got there and he hits it. And if you watch it, please go and watch it, because it's brilliant, because you see him hit it and the look on his face is like, wow, is it going to do what I want to do? And he gets it up and down. He makes the playoff, and then he beats Garcia in the playoff. So it's the thrill of succeeding. It's that upward spiral where you get excited about doing it rather than the fear of failing and you fall into that downward spiral. If you can do that, get that upward spiral going, it's amazing how much fun you have on the golf course. So here's our third scenario, and what I call your can-do attitude. And it's really important you have the right attitude when you walk onto the golf course. But we all go through this. We all get this situation where we look down a hole and we go, oh, I can never play this hole. And already your mindset is creating a problem. God, I've played this hole so badly for the last 6 weeks. Oh, I can never get the ball off the tee. Oh, I can't believe it. The greenkeeper's put the tee box right on the right side. Those trees are in the way now. And what happens is you create this mindset. And your mindset is a bias, an attitude. It's a decision of what you make. And what starts to happen is you keep cementing that idea in, oh, I can't play this hole. I'm dreadful off this tee. And then that drives the action of what you're going to do. It drives what you do, what you don't do, and what you allow to happen. But the problem is, because all you're seeing is these negative ideas, you only see bad things. You're going to tense up, you're going to become awkward, you're not seeing a good shot. You sort of walk onto the tee. Are you going to stick to your process? Are you going to stick to your routine? So when you get over that ball, all you can see is the trees there. Oh, I hooked it out of bounds 3 weeks ago. Oh, I did this. So straight away, you're into this negative mindset. And what happens then is that mindset, that initial thought, creates the result. So you get, oh, I don't want to go in the trees on the right. Whatever you do, don't hook it that way. You're telling yourself all of these things as you're going through the shot. You get over the ball and you're there and you're not thinking about the shot at all. All of a sudden, bang, oh, there's that slice again. Oh, it's gone miles into the trees. And that sets the tone for the rest of the hole. So how do we flip it round? Okay, we may not have played this hole well in the last few weeks, but here's the way I do it. Have I hit this club well before? Well, yeah, the next tee, I always hit a good tee shot with it. So I'm just bringing in bad experiences. Now what I've got to do is bring in good experiences. So what I start to think about is, what do I do when I stand on the tee that I hit a good shot? I'm not looking at the trouble. All of a sudden now I'm looking at where I want to go. So here now I might be picking a tree in the distance. I've got to use those good experiences. And what this is doing now is doing the same process. I have a mindset. It cements the idea, but now the idea is positive. That again dictates the action that I'm going to make, what I do, what I don't do, what I let happen. And the result generally falls in line with the thought process. Look what happened with the negative thought, the big slice into the trees. Now we're picking out a tree in the distance thinking, right, you know you can hit this club well. It's a positive, what we call self-fulfilling circle, where you're seeing it and you think, yeah, I can do this. So now commit to that idea. And the result, we've hit it nicely down the middle of the fairway. So it's so important that you go to a shot, and remember, you're going to play a round of golf. You could be swinging this club. On average, if you're a very good player, you may be making somewhere between 40 swings. If you're not so good, you might be making 60 swings. If you're going in with a I can't do attitude, I can't do it, that's 60 shots that you're really going to struggle with. If you can go in there with a mindset that on those 60 shots I can do it, I'll guarantee in a few weeks you won't be making 60 swings. You'll be making a lot less. So really important, that initial thought will dictate what the result is. It's that can-do attitude when you walk onto that tee. If you know you can hit this club, you can hit it anytime, anywhere on the golf course. So here's our fourth one, and this is the one, once I learnt to change my mindset around this, it transformed my game. And it's what I'd call being too judgmental. If we look back at the first shot we talked about, the ego, there's always that element in your mind of what you think is the best shot you should hit. And when you don't hit it, how hard do you become on yourself? And this is what I was really bad at, especially as a teenager. I got down to 1 handicap at 15 years of age, and I never got better, probably until I got to about the age of 35, and I found sports psychology. I found the mind. And the reason I didn't get any better is I couldn't deal with a shot that didn't look perfect. And as soon as I was doing that, and I felt that every shot had to be perfect, I never got better. And the reason being then is you're beating yourself up. And what it does, it doesn't affect the shot you're playing at the time, it affects the next shot. Because it's as if you take that baggage with you into the next shot, and then you're not thinking clearly because you're still thinking about that shot. And it's interesting because I look at other sports, and in recent years I've taken up a game called bowls, indoor bowls, and I see everybody in that game can bowl a bowl perfectly onto the jack. And if they don't do it, you can see themselves beating themselves up. And when I play a person doing that, I know there's a pretty good opportunity I'm going to beat them. If they are the player, what we're going to teach you to do, who can put it behind him and move on, makes a massive difference. So we've got here, I've deliberately chosen probably my weakest shot. I am probably saying my weakest shot is playing long irons. But there's still that expectation. My best long iron shot, we talked about this in previous videos where you remember good shots, was back out. I can remember hitting a 3 or a 4 iron at Bury St Edmunds Golf Club, and I hit it to about a foot. I was 1 down in a match play with 2 holes to go. I won that hole. And straight away, that sticks in my memory bank. So I look to take that there, but there's the problem. If I'm now thinking about that perfect shot, and now when I play it, I don't execute it, and we're going to use another experience in a little while of what I found, and it changed my mindset to this, is thinking, oh, I've got to stick this a foot from the hole. So I get there, I hit the shot, oh, and you just think, oh, it's not there, I did that well enough, I'm not going to rip the green. So straight away, you're making a judgment on the shot, and that's going to dictate how you feel when you get to the shot. And what I found was that when it changed for me is I was just starting to get a little bit into the mindset and understand how that influenced your shots. But I was on holiday in Florida playing golf, and I think it was the 17th hole. I was on one of the Disney courses, and I hit a 4 iron. So I hit this club, and I reacted that way. It wasn't good. And then I walked up, and the ball was only about 2 feet off the edge of the green. And I suddenly went, well, actually, it's not that bad. And it changed my mindset to realize that how often am I really going to hit a terrible shot of my level? Probably not. So now it's the fun of dealing with the next shot. We're going to go down, have a look at where my result ended up. And was it that bad? I mean, I'm standing here, I'm around about 195 yards away from the hole. I know the ball's not on the green, but at my level, should I be sticking that 2 feet from the hole? No. I'm not that good. And realise that anything around that green, and from here, if I get down in 3 shots, that's brilliant. But I would always judge it, and that's what I see with golfers, that's what I see with my fellow players playing bowls. They are so judgmental about their shot, and then the next one's terrible, and then the next one's terrible. Before you know it, they've messed up the next few holes, or they've messed up the next few ends in their game of bowls. So let's go and have a look at the result. And as I said, now I've got the mindset of the challenge of the next shot, whereas I say 30 odd years ago, I'll be walking down there, head down, disappointed, gutted, thinking, why have I not stuck that 2 feet from the hole? But was it really that bad? So here is where we ended up, and amazingly, it's literally identical to the shot that I played in Florida. I'm around about 2-3 paces off the green. I was 190 yards away. I've now got myself probably inside 20 yards, so 50 feet, let's say, from the hole. Was it that bad a shot? No, but because maybe the contact wasn't perfect, straight away I'm starting to judge myself. What am I going to do? Well, let's look at some of the other thoughts. I'm going to go very quickly. I could go into that downward spiral. Oh, I can't do it. I end up into that self-fulfilling circle and realise I can't play that club. Oh, I told you my forehand was terrible. I can't do it. I don't do that now. What I do now, it's the challenge of the next shot. And it's back to what we said on that second shot over the water. Every shot's an opportunity. And if you can go to the next shot with the challenge of the next shot being the thrill, it's amazing how often do you see it on TV where a player's playing a hole badly and then he holds it out the bunker and still gets his par? Or he's middle of the fairway, you think perfect, sticks it in the pond, drops the ball out, chips it in. Still gets out there with his par. It happens so many times. So why can't it happen for you? But it will happen for you if you turn up to the next shot with a clear mind, a calm mind. And when you look at top players and you see the likes of Tiger Woods, when he had Steve Williams as his caddy, they had an agreement that yes, he could get frustrated, he could get annoyed, but as soon as he gave the club back to Steve Williams, it was forgotten. The next shot was all that mattered. And that's all really you can do. You can only control what you're doing now on the next shot. You can't change what's happened. If you're thinking about that, trying to chip this, you're probably going to fluff it. So now it's the excitement. Can I chip this ball close? And from 190 yards, I always think when I'm playing into a green, if I can reduce the distance that I've got by about 90% as a scratch golfer. So if I'm 190 yards away and I can now get it within 19 yards, which I've done, I'm doing okay. Okay, I'm going to play scratch golf regularly doing that. From here now, if I can put it within 5-6 feet, there's my 90% again. Okay, we're looking at nearly a 20-yard shot. We can put it within 6 feet. Well, that's 2 yards. But it's now the excitement of playing the next shot and playing it up to the hole. The ball's rolling up there nicely, and I'd say I'm about that 6 feet away from the hole. So what we've shown you today, that one for me was the biggest changer. By stopping myself getting angry and frustrated and just dealing with the shot and not over-judging myself, it transformed my game. Then I took the second thing we talked about, the thrill of playing the shot, and that became really important. It was exciting to think, can I play this shot well? And then from there, I'd stand on the tee box thinking, okay, maybe I haven't played this hole particularly well recently, but you know you can hit this club. And then going into that green, making sure you've got enough club. When I changed those 4 things, transformed my game. I hadn't played any competitive golf for years, went out and won my first ever tournament. I think I shot 3-4 under par and won a local Pro-Am. And that wasn't because I'd practiced for hours on my swing, it's because I got my mind in the right place and it allowed that swing to work. Get your mind right, your game will improve. Now hopefully all those 4 things won't be the reason that you can improve your game forward. Maybe just 1 or 2 of them. But have a look at it. Are you judgmental? Okay? Are you getting over the ball, fearful of doing something wrong? Have you got that ego where you're trying to hit not enough club to get there? Or are you somebody who stands there on the tee box saying, well, I told you I can't play this hole. If you are that type of person, flip it round, change that mindset, and you will make a massive difference to your game. I hope you've enjoyed that video. It's showing you a little bit how the mind has improved my game. And as I said, the biggest thing it did, it's improved my game. I probably went from my best ever round, I think was 5 under par. I then shot an 8 under par round. But more importantly, I went from maybe my bad rounds could be 5-6 over to now being 2 over. And that's great fun. You go out and you know you're going to play within, in theory for me, 2 of my handicap every time you go out and play. It's so much fun. It's so enjoyable. Get your mind right, your body will follow, you'll have a lot of success. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, please subscribe to the channel and I look forward to seeing you soon.